Next, we're doing on-ramps, off-ramps, specifically BTMs, hardware interfaces with Bitcoin in the real world. Keith, take it away.
Hello, everybody. My name's Keith Smith. Keith F. Smith. F is for freedom. Some people like to say. I've been in the cryptocurrency space since 2013. Been involved in numerous products and numerous projects. If you're aware of the Nexus cryptocurrency, I'm one of the founders of that. Today I focus on Bitcoin ATMs. One of the reasons I focus on Bitcoin ATMs is because I believe that we need a good financial network built behind our crypto network. People need to have an ability to on-ramp from fiat to crypto, and that ability is hindered through banks and exchanges. Now, it was mentioned earlier that decentralization in Bitcoin has reached an acceptable point. I actually think that's not true. One of the issues with being decentralized and cryptocurrency is the exchange and the liquidity of this cryptocurrency. If you are trying to get Bitcoin, what you have to do is you have to, deposit your cash into a bank and then wire that to an exchange, and then you're trading up against other people who are keeping all their Bitcoin on these exchange wallets. Now, these exchanges use this as leverage for them to continue to monopolize the financial network of cryptocurrency. An exchange that you all know of, Coinbase, is actually lobbying Congress and lobbying politicians so they can monopolize and keep people like us out of the business. They don't want competition. They don't want a little small guy to build up an exchange and start cutting into their underlying. That's why I'm in Bitcoin ATMs, because I believe that people like us can actually get a part of this financial network. You can build a business, and there are so many different businesses that are going to spring forth from the blockchain space, but most importantly, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the blood of cryptocurrency. It's the fuel. If people want any other cryptocurrency, they seek to get Bitcoin first. And from there, if you know how to use cryptocurrency, you get Bitcoin. And then you can get your altcoins. So it's important that we build this financial infrastructure and we get people to have the ability to easily attain Bitcoin. Bitcoin's really rare. It's not easily to get some Bitcoin. You can't just go out on the street corner and say, hey, Bitcoin dealer, I'd like to get a dime of Bitcoin. It's not that easy, but we can make it that easy because Bitcoin ATMs are Bitcoin dealers. And what you're dealing with is you're not dealing with an exchange that's going to allow you to get Bitcoin. You're dealing with another person, a business. And whether the business has one Bitcoin ATM or hundreds of Bitcoin ATMs, it's a business. Now, there's all kinds of financial institutions that are going to arise now. If we allow, the big exchanges, the whole thing that was talked about here earlier about Steam It, and I only knew a little bit about it, but it doesn't surprise me. The exchanges conspired to manipulate a chain, because that is the point of weakness in cryptocurrency, is these exchanges. They're the ones that they can be manipulated. They can decide who wins a fork. And that's a big security flaw. I believe that decentralization is not a point that you reach, but it's a point that you continue to reach for. And once you reach a certain point, you're like, okay, I'm decentralized, this is enough, then you become complacent, and complacent is a security flaw. If you're complacent with your security, you have no security. And Bitcoin's big about security. That's what it's about. We want secure money. We want money that can't be manipulated. It's immutable. So I'm focusing on Bitcoin ATMs and helping people get into the business, but it doesn't just stop at Bitcoin ATMs. Bitcoin ATMs are really important because you can take a $100 bill and you can buy Bitcoin in 30 seconds. Can you take a $100 bill, take it to the bank, and move it to an exchange and figure out that exchange software in under 30 seconds? No, you can't. And that's what needs to be built here in this ecosystem. It's not even as much as building the Bitcoin code as it is building the additional software stacks on top of it. We have to build software that makes Bitcoin usable, make it easy for the average person, and make it easy so grandma and grandpa can walk up to a Bitcoin ATM and be able to figure it out in a couple minutes. Right now, it's not that easy, and you have to walk people through in the beginning. But that's where we are today. It's easier today than when I came in. When I came in, it's a funny story. It started with a debate with a Federal Reserve banker. I was talking about alternative money supplies in a paint store, of all places, outside of Philadelphia. I ended up losing the debate because I brought up Bitcoin and I didn't know anything about it. But I knew it was this decentralized electronic money, and I was like, okay, you know, I'll bring it up. He wanted to know about that. He didn't want to, he already knew about my gold and silver position, but he didn't want to learn about Mountain Hours or Ithaca Hours and these other alternative currencies that I was really interested in. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn about Bitcoin, and it can't be as good as gold and silver. Well, you know, 2012, 2013, there was no information about Bitcoin. You go on the internet, it was very limited. And you literally had to talk to people that were running Bitcoin nodes, running the software, and then they send you to the GitHub repo, and you have to start reading code. Lucky for me, I can read code, so I was able to get the whole big plan. And then I clicked one day, and I'm like, this can be used for so many different parts of our society. Everything from, you know, registering ownership of something to money. Now, Bitcoin's evolving over time. I can't buy, I owned a cafe about 2 years ago, and people would actually buy coffee with Bitcoin because I accepted Bitcoin. The fee wasn't too bad, but it wasn't an economic model that I would want to use Bitcoin to have a coffee shop, you know? Maybe Bitcoin's not actually going to fill that role in society. You know, like maybe it's got a different role. Whatever it evolves to become is the role it evolves to become. But it's important that we, as, you know, not a community, but a network across the world, Bitcoiners, everybody in crypto, because this is important. If you're in an altcoin, Bitcoin's important. Without Bitcoin winning, crypto is at stake, because that's how people get into your altcoin. You have to have the whole network across the world built. So if I could inspire anybody, start a Bitcoin business. You can start it, whether you're teaching people and you're accepting Bitcoin, or whether you've got a business and like I own a roofing company, and 3% of my sales was in Bitcoin. Now that doesn't mean that I have to sell that Bitcoin to cover my costs, because it's only 3%. But yet I'm talking with customers, and I'm finding out a lot of people actually do have Bitcoin, you know, and they just don't understand it. They don't know why they got it. They got it because the news told them to get it. They understand the fundamentals behind it and the importance of it. So then there's an opportunity for you to, you know, make a friend, network, and do more business. And you can build other Bitcoin businesses, whether you're selling goods or services. There's a lot of ways that we can build the foundation of cryptocurrency. And from here, eventually people are going to see fiat for what it is. And we're witnessing right now, they're just going to print to oblivion. People are going to look for a safe haven. And back in 2008, there was no Bitcoin. Like when the crisis happened, there was no Bitcoin. Like, people didn't have a voluntary option to adopt another system. Now they do. And this is dangerous for them. So they want to see these things controlled. And as long as they've got everything bottle capped within the exchanges, we've got a problem. So it's and this is why I'm never too judgmental about projects that are on other cryptocurrencies that are focusing on decentralized exchanges, because decentralized exchanges are the biggest threat to decentralized exchanges. They don't want those projects to succeed, to the point that if you make it the main focus, that I'm going to create a decentralized exchange altcoin, you're not going to get on an exchange. Why? Because you're literally threatening the existence of that exchange. So it's almost like it has to be done covertly. So that's about all I had to say today. But I work for a company called Chain Bytes. We focus on the software and hardware of cryptocurrency ATMs, more specifically Bitcoin ATMs. All cryptocurrency can be adopted on top of that. But if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at SmileyNo. And thank you very much, everybody. And thank you, Nate, for putting this together.